大谷翔平選手の打撃に異変が起きています。5月16日の試合が終了した時点で、打率2割4分、17打点、7ホームラン、OPS799、ホームランが26本ペースと、ここ数年で最も低い水準となっています。大谷選手の MLB 通算打率は2割8分で、OPS が950ということを踏まえると、さらに顕著になっています。投手ではサイ・ヤング賞争いをしていますが、スーパースターの不振にアメリカメディアも注目し始めました。投手の本格復帰1年目が影響しているのか、その他の数字に現れているのか、大谷選手は調子を取り戻すことができるのか、超有名どころが語りました。WBC アメリカ代表監督であるマーク・デローサ氏、MVP や最高出塁率7度受賞したレッツ一筋のスター、ジョーイ・ボットが大谷翔平選手の打撃について語りました。その様子を日本語字幕でご紹介します。
I like my Shohei Ohtani to hit 50 homers and drive in 100 and steal 20 bags. I'm not so fixated, but I'm not so fixated on the pitching.
Yeah. Well, you're going to say that until he wins the Cy Young.
He can do whatever. If he walks in to ownership and Dave Robertson says, I want to win a Cy Young this year, then you do everything in your power to put him in that position because he is just a cash cow.
Yeah. But you feel like the Dodgers can get by.
They
need his bat more than they need his arm. Is that?
I think they need his offense more, ultimately, because I do believe as good as he is, you're probably still handing the ball to Yamamoto in game 1. Snell in game 2. I can make the argument for Glass now in game 3. And then Ohtani 4. And then we move all the Sheehan's and the Robleskis and the Suzakis to the bullpen is what we're doing. I get it on the pitching side, but I love him when he's hitting jacks because he's one of the biggest forces in the game. He's Aaron Judge on the West Coast. I don't want to lose that. Because when I remember my Shohei Ohtani and how I like him, he does this. Boom! Every night. Remember the year he didn't pitch, 24?
Yeah.
He said, let me steal 60 bags to go with my 50 bombs. I want that guy back. Because we've seen him hit absolute tanks. Offensively, he has slow played the year. Maybe he's focusing more on pitching. Who's to say? But he was outside hitting the other day. He never comes outside and hits. He does all his work underneath. But when he's right, he's Aaron Judge. OPS leader since the start of 2023. There he is. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Alvarez, on down the line. As good as it gets. All right, let's keep it going because I want to focus on what I was watching as opposed to what I got last night. I was seeing a lot of late rollover. Run that back for me real quick. We talk about this all the time, creating bat path. How long is your bat in the zone, right? If you're on time, regardless of when this front foot comes down and you're thinking up the middle the other way and you drop it in a slot and think a bottom hand to the baseball, and stay through it, you're creating lag and giving yourself a margin for error. When you're late to the party, you go to fire, all of a sudden you realize you're late, you gotta create room, here comes the top hand, I get rolly and rotational around the baseball, hence the ground balls to first base. Watch this. He'll realize his bottom hand's not on time. I got to get the top hand involved, clear space, and roll around my front leg and ground out to first. And this is what you were getting for the last 7 to 10 days. You could tell he was getting frustrated. Again, rolling around rotational. And then all of a sudden, he faced Spencer Strider on Saturday. Last night, I'm watching more of the same. Take a look at this. Shohei Ohtani's pulled ground ball percentage. 2022, it was 20.6. 2026, I know small sample size, it's 32.4. Keep it going. Hot change me. Come on, Wolin. There we go. Highest pulled ground ball percentage. I don't want my Shohei Ohtani to be hitting ground balls like Matt
you
Wallner.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, why is he? Stop saying my Shohei Ohtani.
Listen, I like him a certain way. Okay,
He's
what did I see
customizable.
last night?
Yes.
Instead of rotational,
yes.
I saw one swing of the second pitch of his first at bat, and I'm like, he's on. Oh, good God. You want to talk about, run that back for me and pause it. You want to talk about being on time, staying tall, presenting, no reach, having space to work your bat path? Run this slow. There will be no redirect. Pause. Bottom hand through the baseball, everything in unison, rear end up under him, perfect foundation. Adrian Hauser's lucky he didn't make contact with that or it was leaving. Now he gets a nasty pitch away, ground ball with eyes through the right side. I'm 1 for 1. He needed that knock. Now I know my average is going up tonight. My next AB, I relax. I try and absolutely kill a ball to the pull side. Now I take a deep breath and I roast a pitch that's probably a ball outside the other way for a homer. And now I'm back. Now, granted, he faced a nasty lefty and struck out his last at bat, but it's a work in progress. These two ABs are going to get him right back. Run this. Pause. Run it back where, yes. Kids at home talk about this all the time. If you take anything from this, bottom hand's your steering wheel, top hand's your power. You take this bottom hand to the baseball, the barrel's coming right behind it. Run it slow. Watch that bottom hand right to the baseball.
Boy, that's nice.
But the rear end's up under him, chest is tall, timing's on point. I would expect him to get really hot here now.
Give me your view just generally on Shohei Ohtani, knowing what your game prep is like as a hitter, and he's doing pitch. Now he's full-time all this year, pitching and hitting. What's your view of Ohtani?
Well, I think Aaron Judge is the best hitter in the game, but I'm left-handed. Shohei's a close second, and for me, he's the most intriguing hitter in the game because of the responsibilities he has, because he's so dominant against left-handed pitching, and because he's just rare is the player that evolves right in front of your eyes. And we've been able to see him grow from an intriguing, a multi-talented star to literally Mount Rushmore caliber player. I have him right now trending towards, his face being next to Ruth, next to Willie, and next to Hank Aaron on our baseball's Mount Rushmore. And this is not to disrespect anybody in the history of the game, but he's fabulous. And we're so fortunate to get to watch him on a daily basis.
It is amazing. Right now, he's hitting .240. He's got a .370 on base. Not embarrassing, but it's not his standards. Slugging .427, so it could be worse. What do you see with Ohtani right now? With his hitting, again, he's had a few days that he just hasn't looked good. He's had 2 days off from the plate. What are you seeing, Joey?
Well, the first thing that stands out to me is he does have that on-base percentage going. And, it's watching him go 50-50. That very same day, he had one of the greatest single games in baseball history where he went 6 for 6 and had some bags and obviously the homers. What is there to worry about with him? If he wasn't walking, if he didn't have that plus on-base percentage above his batting average, then I would be more concerned. But there's something going on, in my opinion. Watching his at-bats, I see something, and I know for a fact he's light years ahead of everybody that's commented on what he's doing at the plate. But, to me, it's as simple as the up and away pitch, the middle up pitch, and the away pitch. Those are the pitches that you want deeper in the zone, and you have to be able to back the ball up in your swing. And in past years, and certainly last September, he showed that is a strength of his when he's at his very best. And in 2026, maybe it's a slight adjustment, maybe it's early, maybe it's small sample size, maybe it's the new responsibility of being the very best pitcher or the 1B best pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. But he just is just ever so slightly off. And, looking at his bat speed data, he's, I think, maybe a mile per hour off. So is Aaron Judge with an 1,100 or 1,000 plus OPS. So there's absolutely nothing going on other than a slight targeting issue. And I think that he's just been a bit just been a bit too close to him in terms of his targeting. And once he starts dominating and owning that up pitch and that up and away pitch, all of a sudden the ball gets deeper in the zone. You have no choice but to back the ball up in the zone to be able to hit the ball out to center, out to left center field. And it's going to be fun. I think we're about to watch a guy who has, I mean, he has a 3-win month. I think in the last couple of years, I think we might have a guy who puts together a couple of those in 2026 and puts together one of the all-time great seasons. It's going to be a blast to watch from May 15th till the end of the year.
But yeah, a lot of specific stuff in there, Joey. But just so people know that blue is cold, right? The red is hot, blue is cold, and in that corner, you know, blue is cold. There's a lot in there. People have rack it back, right? DVR it, rack it back, and listen again. Hey, Joey, you actually checked out his batting practice, his BP. What did you see when you saw a show what do you see in the guy's BP?
Right. So I was privy enough to watch his batting practice from the most recent rare outside batting practice he took. But you can see a couple balls he pulled where you can see the reaction, where he wasn't able to let the ball get that ever so slight, that tick deeper to be able to drive it to center field, and he likes that one. And the good hitters want to see straight lines, even if it's pulled. If there's nothing wrong with pulling the ball, but those is to center field right there, the straight lines off their bat, because then they know that it's just a feel thing. I can't even articulate this. I'm not a hitting coach, but I can tell you we want to feel straight lines even on the pull side, and we don't want to see top spun balls or curled balls, because we're just not as square to the ball. And the feeling of flushing a ball through the center of the field, through left center field, and right center field, makes you feel as if you're more balanced at contact. It makes you feel like more of the center of the bat is making contact with more of the center of the ball. And we want that control. And right now I see a hitter that's just slightly off. And, you know, these fly balls, those fading fly balls to left field, those homers to left field, those long home runs to center field are the next step. It's inevitable. It's not possible for him to fail.
Okay. You articulated it well. I get that. We're soaking it all in. You brought this up, and I'm with you on this. Year by year, I think we've forgotten that Ohtani, when he reached his career high in innings, right, there's only so much he can do. He had 166 innings. You look at his numbers. Back 2022, his OPS plus was 144, which is good, right? But then he becomes the best hitter in the league, 185, 187, 181 in the OPS plus. That year, by the way, he had a 356 on base, slug 519. It's still remarkable, but it seems kind of human. So I think the question is the pitching emphasis? He seems to want to go for the pitching this year. He's been a 0.82 ERA. Is the pitching emphasis draining the offense?
No, it's the easiest, his easiest skill is his power. And, you know, he's got the on base. He's got the fantastic performance as a pitcher. He may have taken it, may have geared down on the base running. But the thing that's going to come most natural to him is the power. It's just not possible for him to fail. And for him to have such a high on base percentage and to be so successful right now is, to me, a fantastic sign. And oh, he could hit 260, 270 and still have a 600 slug, you know, have a 400 base, you know, be in that 180, 190 range. And then we're talking about the unicorn of unicorns. So he's got some issues against right-handers right now. But that, to me, is a reflection of, and when I say issues, I mean his lower ISO, his lower slug against right-handers. He's still the exact same against left-handed pitching, actually slightly better than career norms. For me, the right-handed pitching is just that extra tick deeper in the zone, that ball up and away, and the ball away, which is a representation of, in my opinion, as a hitter, the blind spot zone, where you're letting the ball get deeper. You can't really see what's going on, but you trust that the bat's going to get their balls to left center, balls to center field for extra bases.
Okay. That's beyond my expertise. You have a whole feel thing. You can see things in the matrix. I want to ask you about this, though. This I understand, and this I used to study with, you know, studying your game. the plate discipline. How often do you chase? How often do you swing when it's in the zone? In other words, controlling the strike zone, understanding what's a strike. Now, previous 2 years, his chase rate is 26%. This year, it's 30%. Z-swing is how often are you swinging at pitches that are in the strike zone? He's at 68% the previous 2. Now he's at 60. It drops down. Meatball swing is like middle. He's swinging at 77, and now this year it's 69. So what is this telling you, Joe? I mean, it almost looks obvious to me, or am I getting like chicken and the egg mixed up here?
Just to me, the ball that's close to him, he still is attacking. He's still confident and comfortable. But sometimes visually as hitters, when we feel more confident and comfortable with the ball closer to us, the ball away, the ball with height, has a tendency to look farther away, has a tendency to look higher. And those can make you feel like that strike pitch away, that strike ball up, I can't comfortably get my good swing off. That ball that's close to me, I can get my good swing off. And that becomes this sort of feedback loop into itself where ball closer, more comfortable, ball away, less comfortable. And then we start shaping our swing. And I'm not going to guarantee, but my best guess is once he starts handling that ball up and away, and starts backing the ball up, you're going to see his bat speed uptick. I think, that maybe 1.5 per hour average down this year. I could see it once he starts flattening out and getting length to his swing, the speed, everything will speed up. You'll see the numbers return to norm. But the easiest thing for him to do is to slug, to ISO, to hit homers. And this to me solves everything as far as his WRC plus and lower slug.
ご視聴いただきありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価をお願いします。